This is Chidero, and today I'd like to show you a 3 bling fishtail bracelet. So in order to do this bracelet, you will need a loom set up in this configuration, which is just 2 pin bars with the middle pin bar taken out. You will need your choice of bands, which mine, I'm just using one color today. A loom hook, and this is artistic wire, but it is any type of material that you will be able to thread with. And this one here is, let's see, 0.40 millimeters. So you may buy this at the store or use anything that will help you thread excuse me, put your bling onto your bands. So the bling that I chose today, I wanted to show you when I bought a kit, a jewelry kit at, I believe it was Walmart. It came with this handy dandy little designer bead palette. I know I'm notorious for telling you that, oh, I don't know what kind of beads I bought because I just bought them on a bracelet. Well, I don't think that's very helpful, and I do apologize for that because it's not helping anybody find what type of beads that they could be using. So this one is really awesome because it has the different circles and the different millimeters, which shows you right here that the bead that I will be using today is 8 millimeter. That way, if you choose to make the exact same bracelet, you will know when you go to the store to buy an 8 millimeter bead. Typically, if they do come on a string, one string will have some left over, but depending on what design you're doing, like today we're doing 2 of these beads, and I'm using a little bit of a, I call them a spacer type bead, because typically on a bracelet, because of their thin, these are what you would use to go in between beads. This way you'll be able to have a better idea as to what to buy. So you do have on the bottom here, you have inches and centimeters. So there are other things that you can measure. I'm going to stick this one over here, and let's see, this one is 6 millimeters. Cool. So I haven't measured that one yet. So if you're looking for a spacer to go in between your 8 millimeter beads, you will know that this one is, my apologies, that this one is 2 millimeters smaller. Cool. Okay, plus it has these really nifty little trays, and they help keep everything in place, and you can also hold if you're doing a lineup. So say on this one we're doing this for each one, and so we could start on the end here and line every one of these up, and it will hold it in place for you. So enough with that. Let's put that aside. So again, your loom set up, and the open part of your peg to be facing towards you, because we are only going to be using these 2 pegs here. So first I'd like to show you what we are going to do. This one I already started. So it's just the typical basic fishtail stitch, but in between we are going to place a band that will have 1 bead, 1 spacer bead, and then another bead. Yes, all of these do fit on 1 band. These bands that I'm using today are the medieval hot pink or medieval pink bands by Rainbow Loom. So they are the silicone ones, and these spacers and beads particularly are large enough have a large enough hole that you are able to thread onto them. So I do have some threaded already, but we will do some threading today as well. And this is what it will come out to look like. Let me turn it a little bit here. So what I've done was I put my beads and then I put one row of just a plain band and then another row of beads. So I've done in every other pattern. So these are really close together. I do like the look of it when it's fairly close together like this, but with that being said, it will curl up on you because they are so close, and it's a tightly loomed design. Also, whenever it's done and it's on your wrist, they will sit flat, or you have the option to push them out where they will sit above on your wrist. So as you can see, it's already starting to curl up because they are so close together. So the other option would be, instead of just putting one band in between, you could do multiple. You could do 2, 4, anything of that nature, and it's going to spread out your beads and have less tension as far as, you know, just not curling up. So what I'd like to do is first we will thread some beads, and then I will show you how we are creating it. So I will put this one aside and grab your beads. So again, if you needed to visit the tutorial and then go to the store and pick out which type of beads, I am happy at least now that you have an idea as to what I'm using. So first, what I'm going to do is actually cut my wire on video today. This wire is a good size for using the 8mm beads for that type of hole. So it's not a wire that you can use if you are threading rhinestones. You need like paper thin wire for that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to unravel, make that, if I can, a little bit straighter, and I'm going to bend just to see how much that I want to use, and I want to use about a half a finger length. That to me is enough. So, and then I'm just going to bend it right down here. Notice there's a little bit of a hoop. You need to bend that hoop in, otherwise the bead will get stuck on top of it. So we bent that in now, and now what I'm going to do is I'm holding this taut because I don't want it to unravel, but now I'm going to take my scissors and I want it to be even with the existing piece, and I'm just going to simply cut it. So we have a straight cut right there. We have our bead end, both of our ends together because they both have to go through the bead. And there we go. There is our threading tool. And don't forget to put your wire back through the hole if you do have a spool, because that is how it unravels, and that's a bad thing. Okay, so, oops, I'm sorry. Put this up a little bit. Okay, so we want to make sure that your threading tool is open at the bottom, and we're going to take our bands, and like I said, I'm using silicone bands, so they're a little bit thicker. You can use any bands of your choice. Just going to stick this down inside. Make sure that the two ends are together, and our pattern is going to be one 8mm bead, both ends in. We're not going to push it down yet because we have 3 to go, or 2 left, my apologies. Put my spacer bead, and then the last 8mm bead, and the middle one was 6mm. So we have them all on our threading tool. This I found to be an excellent way to thread a lot of bands, especially thicker bands. So I'm going to take and put my hand on my loom, and I'm going to pull my threading device, and I'm really going to stretch on that band. That helps tremendously to thin out the band so you can push your beads on. The only bad thing about this type of wire is that it's a good sturdy wire, but I use my fingernails to dig in to pull on it. So it puts a little bit of a crimp into it, but it's okay. And there you have it. And it's not going, obviously, it's not going anywhere. So, let me take this one. What I've been doing is I've just been putting these on the pegs. It's the first time I've done this, and it's not, you know, that way they're not laying all over my desk. So I'm going to take another band and place it down at the bottom. Again, we're going to go with one 8mm bead, a 6mm spacer bead, and another 8mm, and we're going to place one on our peg. You don't have to, but I like to. Pull on it to make it a thinner band and simply push it on. So what I've been doing is just taking my thread out and leaving it on the peg, and that way I have a setup as I'm looming or placing the bands. They're all just set up right there for me. So let's go ahead and do one more. So we need and it is easier of not placing them and placing and pushing. If I'm doing multiple beads, I like to push them all down at the same time. So make sure that both of those ends go in. Okay, I double up on my pegs, so I'm going to pull and they slide right on, and then just take my threading tool out there. Okay, so you can pause the video and go ahead and thread up your beads. I will try my hardest to post down below so you can see how many beads to use and get an idea on how many it's going to be for an entire bracelet. This type of, usually I do not like to bead bracelets the whole way around my wrist because I think that it's easier to snag, or it's just uncomfortable whenever sometimes the beads are on the bottom, this part of my wrist. But with it being a fishtail or a growing bracelet, they're easier to make as a whole, you know, and you don't add an extension. So with that being said, beads do weigh down a bracelet, and you may need less bands than you typically would for a fishtail design, especially because you can see right here there is a large space that the beads take up, so which means you'll need less beads and less bands for this to fit all the way around your wrist. Okay, I think that's enough gabbing. So once you're ready with all, you know, enough beads and bands, everything threaded, and you're ready to loom, you can revisit the tutorial and we'll get started. You'll need to know how to do a basic fishtail stitch, which obviously is just a figure 8 as the first one. And actually, one tip that I would like to give is I like to put another plain band on straight and then take my first beaded band and then loom it up that way. And I don't particularly like to do this one on a side peg because I don't have the room. As you can see, all 3 of these beads do not fit in between that space, so they're all going to be kind of, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just my preference to not bead on the side, that if I take out one peg, I have a lot of space right here in the middle. So I am at the step where I just put on a plain band, so my next step would be to add the beaded band. So we're just going to place that over the pegs. So as you can see, just like any normal fishtail stitch, we'll always have 3 on our loom when it's time to stitch or loop. So we're going to take the bottom band and pull it over. So one tip is always make sure that your beads are always in the same place in the middle. If not, you'll have like a staggered configuration, which you can fix at the end, but I just prefer to do it while we're looming it. And also make sure that your stitches here are always on the sides of your beads. And that way they will be just like that. Okay, so we're going to push this down. So because we just put on a beaded, let me move my ankle, that we just put on a beaded band, we're going to put on a plain band. And the other reason I like to put at least one band on top is because they're always sticking up some, so this will give it a little bit of space so they can lay smoother and nicer together. So just threaded, we pulled that bottom one over, so now it's time for us to do a beaded band. And we're going to pull the bottom over again. So it's a very, very, very simple bracelet. And now just as an example, you can see that my beads aren't lined up. It's so simple just to kind of take it, and I'm just going to tug on it, and it puts it right in the middle. So this is a very, very simple bracelet, and you can see it is crunching up, but just like any other growing bracelet, give yours a tug and make sure that it's growing in the length that it's supposed to, and in the end you have it the size of your wrist. So we're going to put a regular band on top. Excuse me. And looping that one over. And then we're going to take another threaded band. It is so nice and so much easier when you already have your beads threaded and waiting for you. Otherwise it can be time consuming because you got to stop, thread, loop, stop, thread, loop. I prefer to have some waiting for me. So we will just continue this until we can get some length out of here and revisit to see when I'm pulling. Excuse me. It's putting the beads in place. Actually, these beads, if you've seen my tutorial about where to buy rhinestones, which is technically I just buy bracelets and cut them up, that tutorial will show you that's where I got these beads from. I didn't purchase them, I purchased them on an already designed bracelet, but they do have them at AC Moore or Target, or I'm sorry, AC Moore, Michaels, Hobby Lobby. You can find basically the same beads. So again, if you do not want them crunched up like this, you would just add more bands, more plain bands in between. So I'm going to tug this, and that way it's going to throw these down into place. Okay, I have 3 left of my beads, so that would be a total of 6 more times. Oops. And these are rainbow loom bands, by the way. I'd love to give a shout out to Artisan Looms on Instagram. She has really became my bling buddy. Her and I are both the blingers on Instagram. And she's going to start doing tutorials soon, and I'm very excited to see, because she has a lot of original designs, and she likes to use a lot of the smaller beads, which I have used some of them, but not like she has. So I'm really excited because I do love to learn. I'm learning every day anything, and she is definitely right up my alley. I have made a great friend, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. So on Instagram, go check out Artisan Looms. Excuse me. Check out her account, because if you like bling, she uses it as well. Alright, so I have one last one that I have already pre-thread. And let me put on a plain band. Give it a tug. Okay, so I kind of like to see how far I am. That looks like I am about halfway. Oh, it is gorgeous. I am loving this. I'm loving it. It's similar to the 3 bling ladder bracelet that I put out, but this one is more of a tight knit, and I absolutely love it. These beads are glass beads, I believe, so they're the way that they're cut so the light catches the sparkle, and it fits nice and smooth against my wrist. The beads are not moving around, and it's not even tied down or anything. And you can see the fishtail design behind it. This helps so the beads aren't touching your wrist, so there won't be any irritation or agitation, anything of that nature. So great design. I'm loving it a lot. So we will need a few more beads to be threaded, and we will be back. So go ahead and finish up your bracelet to the desired length to fit your wrist, and we will be back in a few short minutes to close it up. Okay, I am ready. If you noticed as you were making this, gosh, this is gorgeous. I'm sorry, I am in love. If you notice while you're making it, it curled up, just like I was telling you earlier that it was going to curl. Oh wow, this is probably my favorite to date that I've done. My favorite has always been Yarn Journey's layered ruffles, but I'm in love. This is a perfect design. It keeps these beads in place perfectly. They're not crooked. Oh, it is heavenly. So we're going to go ahead and close this up. Sorry. I get carried away sometimes. Okay, so we're going to, when I started this, as I had mentioned earlier, I put my figure 8 band, and then I put a straight band, and then I put my beaded band, and that allows you to have your cap band here below. It's going to go in between those beads. It's okay. But at least it's not the, if you don't put 2 bands down with, and then the beaded band, you're going to be grabbing the cap band as, like, your threaded band will be your cap band. So anyway, that's why I did that. So my attempt here, because I have never made this bracelet before, this is the first time I've made it, and I thought if I was going to go through all this effort to bead, all these bands, I was gonna capture it as a tutorial. So what I'd like to do is the same concept. I want to be able to have bands left over at the end. So the last one that I did was a bead. Okay, this is how you need to have it set up if you'd like to finish it like mine, where your bead band is on the top. So just like any other fishtail, we're just going to go ahead without putting another one on. Just take the bottom band and bring it up on over. Take this bottom band, bring it over the top. Okay, so we have our 2 bands left over for putting our clip. So with this being such a beautiful bracelet, I would actually like to grab I am looking at my bag right now because I want to put a O-ring instead of a C-clip. So I'm sorry, I actually have a little bin, which I will show you. I bought a couple of these little bins here for $1 at CVS. This is where I keep all of my O-ring bands, and I like to keep everything organized. So I have an option here. These ones I like because you open them, they're what you would want to use. These ones, you know, that I'm putting to the side, they don't open. These ones do, and so I think I'd like to use, I'm sorry, these ones do not. These are the double, they're like a little key ring. These do not. Because we use silver beads, I want to grab a silver ring, which hopefully I have. Okay, so this one would be too big in my opinion. The gold, holy cow. But I do have these colored ones. I could use these. Maybe use that black one. I might just go ahead and use this. So all of these, I am trying to keep them in a manner where I can explain where I bought it or how much. So O-rings are expensive, I'm not gonna lie, but these are 10mm jump rings. I call them O-rings, I'm sorry. And the company is The Jewelry Shop. There was 20 that come in a pack for $3.99. These I believe I bought at Hobby Lobby, but a lot of my shopping I do at AC Moore. So my favorite bead hauls, as you can see if you follow me on Instagram, are at AC Moore, Hobby Lobby, or Michael's. Those are my stores. So what I would have liked to have done, which I'm so surprised I don't have little, that's odd. I don't have any little ones that are silver. I don't really even care for gold. Ah, I do! Here they are. Yay. I still like to go with the silver. They might be too small. Are these? Yeah, these ones open up. These are really tiny. So I don't know if all the bands will fit. It might be perfect. But these ones open. So you just take it and one hand pushes up, the other hand pushes down to open it. You never want to open it to the side because that bends the shape of it. So let me put my mess to the side here. These are really awesome. I haven't used them yet, but a sailor looking O-ring, I think they're pretty cool. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I'm not going to use this one. I think it's too small. It's scaring me. I'm going to use this one. So my right hand is going to push up as my left hand is pushing down, and that will allow me to open this, hopefully. These are really tight, strong ones. That's great. Okay, I'm opening it that much because I don't want to rip my band if they should happen to touch the edge. So I'm going to take my cap band, and I don't want to touch the edge of this, even though these ones aren't as sharp as the metal ones. or the silver ones, I just want to stick it in, just like that. Obviously, a C-clip is going to be the exact same thing. So, actually, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to put it in like that. And then I'm going to come over to this side. And I'm going to stick this end in. There, done. Typically you would thread that over, but we did just the same. Okay, so now you're going to take the opposite direction. With my left hand, I'm going to push back, and with my right hand, I'm going to push towards the camera and close it up. And there you have it. You have a clasp. And actually, we need to move these to the outer edge. There we have it. Maybe they'll stay, I'm not sure, but if they don't, oh well, that's where your cap band is, so. Okay. And for the grand finale, here we go. Oh my gosh. Let me gloat and gleam. This is phenomenal. It is gorgeous. My absolute favorite design to date. And there isn't even a rhinestone. And I love it that much. I am loving it. It is so elegant. It is so beautiful. It can definitely be worn with a dressy outfit. Absolutely 100%. And it is made out of rubber bands. That gets me. It gets me every time. It's made out of rubber bands. And it can look this elegant and work. I don't know if anybody would care to wear it like this, because the beads would be up against, but it can also be worn like that. I would 100% choose not to wear it like that. And actually the beads will come right through, so never mind. So let's put this on the way it's supposed to be on. Now that I have it all goofy. I am in love with this. Holy cow. So I choose to have all mine sitting up like that. Let me slide it on. And it's a little bit big, but it's okay, because the good thing is that it doesn't have to be pulled so tight to make all the beads stay in place. So there you have it. We have a 3 bling fishtail, which is a 3 beaded fishtail. So in the description, when I'm done with the tutorial, which you would have already read, I will put down how many rows that I have done. I will also put down how many beads were on here, and that way you will know what supplies you need to grab. So thank you so much for being a part of this. As I said, I have not created this one yet. This was my first time and I wanted to capture it, and so you were a part of it with me, so I appreciate it. And again, if you don't have any O-rings or jump rings, just use a simple C-clip. That's it. So if I have inspired you and you do love this design as much as I do, please click the thumbs up and feel free to comment anything below as to if there's anything I can do to improve my tutorials, or just a simple hello. Another is really important to me is that I love to inspire. I really do. It's not about credit as much as it is to see everybody's designs. If you could please hashtag your designs to Chidero_T, which is listed below. I would love to see what type of beads you're using and the different combinations you guys come up with. So please do that. Also on Pinterest. You can follow me there as well. So thanks for watching, and until next time, let's bling it.